You back? We back? I'm back for part 2. Restitution, reconciliation. Last video we talked about how the things we don't do or have done, ultimately those things that we do against our brethren are ultimately first against the Lord. That's why he said in Matthew 25, many on that day, right, the day of judgment, many on that day shall say, Lord, when, have we seen thee naked and we didn't cover you, hungry and we didn't feed you, thirsty and we didn't give you drink, in prison and we didn't visit you, sick and we didn't come to see you? He's going to say, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you didn't do it to the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. So the things that we do or don't do against each other or against the Lord, and it is sin unto us, right? The principles and principalities that he is trying to show us in his word is the purpose of the commandment is love. Make restitution when you can, and reconcile when you can. Let that stuff go. Whatever it is, let it go, right? Because it's impossible. He said it's impossible for you to love me. God is saying it's impossible for you to love God and whom you don't see and will never see, and the brother or the sister that you see daily, it may not be daily, but weekly, monthly, you're going to run into them and you don't love them whom you see. So it's very important. And it's very important. You need to know that he does not hear you. He does not hear you when you have anything against your brother and against your neighbor. You wonder why your prayer's not getting answered, because you have to make restitution. You have to reconcile with whoever it is. Let me show you that in the word. So I think it's Luke, right? Luke 6. Luke 6. And man, this print is so small, 30 and 36. It says, no, it's not Luke. It is Matthew 5. Sorry. Salakia. Why am I thinking Luke? I'm sorry. Verse 23, 5 and 23. It says, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother have anything against thee, leave therefore thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Right? You have to, he's not going to hear you because you have something against your brother. Leave it there. Don't even come to pray, right? Go reconcile with your brother first, and then I'll hear you. It's important, right? I'm going to show you some principles in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. Remember we spoke about the old being new is because it's the same God speaking. In Deuteronomy 19. 19 and 15. Deuteronomy 19 and 15, it says, one witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days as 3 witnesses, the Lord, the priests, and the judges, right? And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brethren. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, right? And Christ come on the scene and he magnifies this law, right? In Matthew 18. He don't do away with the law, he just magnify it to the point where he's going to force you to love your brother, love your sister. Because then there, in that sense, it's like, okay, you thought to have me arrested. Say your brother, they thought to have you arrested. And we stood in front of those 3 witnesses, and it was proven that you're a liar. It says you shall do unto that person as he thought to have done unto you. So now I want you arrested, right? Christ is like, let's do this instead, right? So Matthew 18 and 15. He said, do this instead. Matthew 18 and 15. It says, moreover, right? If thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone, right? Christ, like, be a man, be a woman. Go talk to them, because we have judges, but and we have a high priest, which is Jesus, right? And God is also a witness between you. So I'm not gonna say we don't have those witnesses. You have all 3 of those witnesses. But instead of you doing all of that, how simple is it? Because it's simplicity in Christ. How simple is it for you to go and speak to that person whom you thought did you wrong? Yeah, how about that? Go speak to that person. But we go and we gossip and we slander and we hold grudges against each other, right? And it's just simple. Just go and talk it out. But men love darkness rather than they do the light. So it's, especially women, we have a problem. That's all you do is gossip, slander, and backbite each other. And it's sad. Go be a woman about it and speak to that sister, because that's your sister. Go speak to her. Go and speak to that brother. But y'all choose to shoot each other. You're terrible in communication. Christ just wants you to communicate with each other, right? It says, moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. This is a private conversation. First, man to man, woman to woman. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Restitution, reconciliation. That's all Christ wants, right? For you, because the purpose of the commandment is love. Again, he just wants you to love each other as you love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? It says, but if he will not hear thee, and we got them people who, again, these people love darkness rather than they do light, right? And you're going to have them people who will not hear you. It says, then take with thee 1 or 2 more witnesses, right? Because in the principle of Deuteronomy, the law in Deuteronomy we seen, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established, right? And if he shall neglect to hear them, right, those 2 witnesses that you brought, you know what I mean? Like, if you beefing with your cuz, go get another cousin and another cousin, and you show them, yo, we had a disagreement. I'm trying to reconcile with you, or if I've taken from you or a loss occurred because of something I did, I'm here to make restitution, and this person fails to hear you, you bring them other cousins, right? It says, in the mouth of two or three witnesses everywhere be established, and if he shall not neglect to hear them, then tell it to the church. Now we're going to tell the church, right? I'm going to tell the people that you hold in high esteem, and that they may hold you in high esteem, right? But if you neglect, he or she neglect to hear the church, then let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican, and we don't deal with you then, right? That's the only reason you should be like, because you went through these steps that Christ showed us. We went through these steps. We spoke to you alone. We brought 2 or 3 more witnesses in the midst of us, right? Then I told the church, 3 witnesses. Then I told the church, I got 3 witnesses. You really got 6 because Christ, Spirit, right? Christ, God, and heaven and earth is a witness against you when you do these things. So you took all of these steps, and they didn't hear you. Then you washed your hands, right? Because it says, verily, verse 18, this is Matthew 18:18. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Remember that. And whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in the heaven. These things are done, and there are witnesses. And if I bind you with an oath, it's bound in heaven. If I loose you from my life, right, it's loosed in heaven. To the believer, though. To the believer, you're just not going to be binding and loosing stuff. Like, I loose myself from that grudge, right? And I'm going to bind love on my hand instead. That's ultimately its goal, right? This is, again, I say unto you that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. It says, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. And we want Christ in the midst of us. And we're going to do the things that he said. He said, why call me Lord and you do it for not the things that I say? Right? And the principle is love. And you got those who are going to say, you know what? Like Peter did. Peter about to ask him a question. Matthew 18:21, it says, then came Peter to him, because he's baffled at the situation just like we are. Like, who does this? No. No. See, because we love darkness rather than light. And he is the light, and he's going to show us the way, the truth, and the light. And it says, then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? That's the question of the hour. How often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Right? 7 times? 7 times, Lord? Because he done you pushing it, right? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times. No, not 7 times, but 77 times 7. Continually, right? Continually, I want you to make restitution. Continually, I want you to reconcile with your brother. We hate it. Okay. This is terrible. Continually, he wants you to do it. It's a principle that he shows us that this is a continual thing. Because we imperfect people. Yes, we are. We still should love one another. It says in Ephesians 4:26, it says, be angry. We're going to be angry about the situation. We are, right? But sin not. That's the kicker. Sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, right? 7 times 77. Continually reconcile with the one who you thought may have done you wrong or have done you wrong. And it says little small petty stuff. We talked about money being the root to most of your evil, right? We talked about men or women in the midst of that. Is minute stuff that should be forgotten. Be angry, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil, because ultimately, understand, Ultimately, when we hold grudges day after day after day, ultimately you yourself are giving place to the devil to use your vessel. Yes, you're giving place to the devil to use your vessel. Y'all got this saying, it goes, the devil working today. Yes, he is, sir, ma'am, through you. Oh my God. Yes, he is, sir, ma'am, through you, because you refuse, right, to make restitution and reconcile with whomever, and you're giving place for him to enter your heart, for him to enter your life, and speak blasphemous words against whomever. And yeah, the devil is working right through you. Give place not to the devil. Amen. We seen that we should, I'm going to show you some of the principles that Christ is trying to lay down for y'all, so we can, right? It's not just y'all, it's me too. We got to get it together. I think the same way y'all, before I raided my tomb, Deuteronomy 22, it says, thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or sheep go astray, right? And hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not near unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thy own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seeketh after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. Restitution. It's all about restoring the things unto your neighbor. Right? In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brethren, which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise, that thou mayest not hide thyself. That all that mindset that we have, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, no, it's not the way of Christ. It's just not. Restore, make restitution, reconcile these lost things to your neighbor, to your brother, to your sister, whomever, right? So it's going to tell you, even if it's your enemies, right? You seen your enemy dog get loose, your mindset is, man, forget that dog and him. No, the Lord said, you shall surely go get that dog and put it back in the gate. We got to change our minds, y'all. We got to change our minds. Verse 24. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. It's always, it's a passage that says, thou shalt not hide thyself from thy people. What we do is we hide ourselves from our people when they make us upset, and he just wants us to renew our minds, right? Leviticus 6. Leviticus 6 and 1, right? It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, if a soul sin, it's a soul, and commit a trespass against the Lord, and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or anything taken away by violence, or have deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost, and lie concerning it, and swear falsely in any of these that a man doeth, right? Sinning therein. Understand, we talked about earlier, your soul, when you do these things unto your neighbor, it says in verse 6 and 2 rather, if a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord, understand what you're doing is against the Lord. When man and man trespass against each other, right? You can make it up. It says, who's going to help you when you sin against the Lord? So the things that we do against each other or against the Lord, right? I'm going to read it over again because you must understand it. If a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord and lie unto his neighbor, right? You lie. And that which was delivered him to keep. We spoke about this in the first video. If you didn't watch it, I encourage you to go watch part 1, right? Or in the thing taken away by violence, or have deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost, and lie concerning it, and swear falsely, and any of these that a man doeth, sinning therein. Then it shall be, because you have sinned and are guilty, that you shall restore that which you took away violently, or the thing which you have deceitfully gotten, or that which was delivered him to keep, or the lost thing which you found, or all that about which you have sworn falsely, you shall even restore it in the principal, and shall add the 5th part more into there, and give it unto him to whom it appertaineth, right? So the Lord is all about making restitution to your neighbor, right? Let's go to Matthew. Back to Matthew. Back to the words of the Lord. I'm ready to wrap this up. 21 minutes. Oh no, we already read Matthew. So I want to show you. Something. Because we need to see a picture of this, right? In the scriptures, and I asked the Lord to show me, what a story about restitution, about reconciliation. And lo and behold, Spirit took me to Jacob and Esau. I hope you know the text. If you don't know the text, we're gonna read it today. It's important that you read your word, you understand. And the principles, and there's nothing that we go through in this life that is not in this. I I don't watch TV. I just read the word. You want a soap opera? You don't need Love and Hip Hop. It's a mess, right? So Genesis 25, just to give you a backdrop on, if you don't know the story, we're going to read the story for you. Just a little bit of who Esau and Jacob are, right? Isaac. Let me just read it. It says, and these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Pandaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Yaakov, right? And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob, right? So there's that story. We see this picture of dysfunction between parents in the home. They choosing their favorite children. The saints, y'all be lying, thinking y'all ain't got no favorite children. This is another study for another day and another time. But you see, there's some confusion between Isaac and Rebecca, and they choosing their favorite children. Isaac, he loved Esau because he cooked. We have those. You love that favorite child for whatever reason it is. The reason he loved Esau was because the boy he threw down, he could cook, right? And this is the story of Jacob and Esau. It says, and Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I'm faint, right? Therefore his name was called Edom, right? So he'd been in the field all day. Remember, he was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. He'd been out there all day. He came from the field. He seen his brother. Bro, I'm hungry. Can you feed me? Jacob's word was at verse 25 and 31. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. What? I'm hungry. Your brother is hungry, right? Deceiver. He's taking hold of this man's heel. Understand what his name means. Heel catcher, deceiver, right? Sell me instead of feeding your brother, right? Sell me your birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and he rose up and he went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright, right? So instead of you being gracious, Jacob deceived him. He caught hold of his heel and deceived him into selling him his birthright, because the firstborn gets everything. Should be biblical days, the firstborn gets everything, right? And they'll divide it when the parents pass to the other siblings, but firstborn rights, right? Because he was second, he deceived them, caught hold of his heel, and said, now I get all this, I get everything now. No matter how deception, no matter how, it was messed up. It's messed up. But the Lord will repay, right? But Esau, he shouldn't have despised his birthright. Even at the point of dying, I need food. Don't sell your birthright neither. I just want to read you something in Hosea real fast. And we're going to get back to the text, so you get an understanding of the whole situation. Because when you read your Bible, you're going to see prophecies about Jacob and Esau all throughout the Bible. And you have to understand who these nations are, who these people are, and why it is war between these two people, these two nations of people. Hosea. I know y'all like, who is Hosea? Ain't never heard of them. They ain't like, Hosea. I gotta find it. Amos, Joel, Hosea. Hosea 12 and 2, right? It says, the Lord hath also a controversy with Judah, and he will punish Jacob according to his ways, right? According to his doings, he will recompense him. He took his brother by the heel in the womb. He did it in the womb, and the Lord will and did repay him. Once we get through the story, he will repay Jacob. He did repay Jacob. Jacob went through a lot. Like I said, this is a beautiful book. You don't even need to watch TV. You got a whole soap opera right here. So, because of this, right? No, not even because of this. I'm ready to show you why. And verse 20, chapter 27, Genesis 27, right? And it says, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his oldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison and make me some savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. Right? And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau, his son. Now, we talked about a little favoritism going on. It didn't say our son, it says his son. Again, like I said, it's another study for another time, another place. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and bring it, right? We see the favoritism and we see miscommunication between parents, right? And Rebekah spake unto Jacob, her son, not our son, her son, her favorite, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth, because she know that's her husband. You know how he like it, right? It says in verse 27 and 10, and thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat and that he may bless you before his death, right? So we see where Jacob kind of get his little deception from, huh? And mommy. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, right? They concocted this scheme, right? He hairy, and I'm a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, because you are. That's your name, right? And I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. Think about that, right? It says, my son, there goes mother, deceiving mother. My son, only obey my voice and go fetch them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son, Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon her younger son, right? And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck, and she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So they came up with this scheme, put some little goat hair on him or whatever. She went and grabbed Esau's shirt. You gotta smell like him, you know what I mean? 27 and 18. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? Right? And he said, because the Lord thy God... Oh my God, I ain't never seen that before. Because the Lord my God had brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, and his brother Esau's, his brother Esau's hands. So he was blessed. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and he kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment. See, Isaac, he trying, but he old as dirt, yo. And he smelled them, like he felt the hair on his hand. Like he sound like Jacob, but this he hairy and Jacob smooth. So he told him, come near unto me, and he came near, but he smelled him. And remember, he got Esau's shirt on, so he smelled like him. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore, God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of earth and the plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So he's blessing them now. 27 and 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce going out from the presence of Isaac his father, that his brother came in from his hunting, right? And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eateth his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. So Jacob is leaving. He already got the blessing. Jacob is leaving. Esau is coming in, right? And he like, get up, Dad, eat and bless me. Where am I? And Isaac, his father, said unto him, who art thou? Who is you? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed, basically, right? And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. It was probably the worst. Y'all know how men cry. It's so ugly. But, it said unto his father, well, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? See, Yaakov, things mean things in Hebrew. Our names don't mean nothing in English. In Hebrew, his name is Yaakov, and it means deceiver, right? Heel catcher, supplanter, right? He said, thy brother came subtly and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, and Esau said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these two times. Y'all remember the first one where he made him sell his birthright. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved the blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine I have sustained him. What shall I do now unto thee, my son? I got nothing for you, because it all goes to the firstborn. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, well, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, right, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, right? So this is the backstory of, because we're getting somewhere, as my prophetess, Miss Kenya, would say, we're going somewhere. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith he blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother. Basically, he said, when daddy die, I'm killing you. When daddy die, I'm a killing, right? In the words of Esau, her elder son were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching you, doeth comfort himself purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise, flee thou to Laban my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done unto him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? So now the mother is like, go hide at my brother's house, right? From Haran. So Jacob goes to Haran. To make a long story short, he goes through a lot there. Again, because we know the Lord said he's going to punish him, but he ends up, remember the mom said a few days. Jacob was there for 20 years. Jacob was at Laban's house for 20 years. This is how long y'all let things fester in your heart, and you refuse to make restitution for what you did. You refuse to reconcile with your loved ones. 20 plus years. Some of y'all ain't spoken to your sisters, your brothers, your mothers, your fathers. 20 years y'all let these things fester in your heart. To run through the text, it's in Genesis 31:38. He's trying to leave Laban now, right? And he's telling Laban he got 4 wives, 11 children, in these 20 years, and he has left Laban, right? He's leaving, and Laban catches up to him. And basically, Jacob says, "This 20 years have I been with you," right? In verse 31 and 48, it says, "Thus I have been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle." So 14 years for Leah and Rachel, and then 6 more years for cattle. And thou hast changed my wages 10 times, except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, the fear of Isaac have been with me. Surely thou hast sent me away now empty. But God, seeing my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesterday night. So he took everything he had and he left. And Laban like, no, everything that you have is mine. Blah, 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 blah. And Jacob like, God, he said it's time. He about to restore me, and I gotta go. I gotta go see my father, right? So they make a covenant, right? They make a covenant, and Jacob leaves with everything that he has, and what he has is a bit much. But Jacob, to get back home, has to pass through the land of Seir, which is Edom, which is Esau's land, right? Chapter 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall you speak unto my lord Esau." Now he's his lord, right? But we're talking about making restitution. We're talking about reconciling. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob said this, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now." Right? Because Esau don't know where he at. I'm pretty sure he looked. But verse 32 and 5, "And I have oxen, I got asses, I got flocks, I got men servants, I got women servants. And I have sent to tell my Lord that I might find grace in thy sight." Look, bro, I know what I did, but this is what I got. This is where I've been, and you got it. You can have half of it. You know what I mean? I just want peace. That's what we should strive for. Pursue peace with all men. Verse 32 and 6, "And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet you, and 400 men with him." Right? Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So all that he had to break it into 2 bands. He's scared to death. He's like, oh my God, he coming with 400 Negroes. Blah. He's still harboring that in his heart, and he about to kill me. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna break it, and he broke it into 2 bands, 2 bands, 2 bands. So he said 1 set of soldiers in front of him, with, you're gonna see gifts. Then the second band, if he smite that band, then y'all escape. But if he don't, the second band, when you see him, tell him we got gifts for him. Third band, when you see him, we got gifts for him. So it says the gift blindeth the heart. And the boy is still deceiving. Seriously, the boy is still deceiving, right? Watch this. 32:9, and Jacob said, now he got to pray. He got to pray because Esau coming. He's like, oh God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saith unto me, return into thy country and to thy kindred. I will deal with thee. I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all thy mercies, right? Jacob know he a deceiver. He know he a sinner. But you have made this promise to me. I ain't worthy of it, but I would like to see the fruition of it. It says, I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, for the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children, right? And thou said, I will surely do thee good and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lounged there that same night and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother. So he gave him 200 she-goats. He gave him 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 milker camels with their colts, their babies, 40 kine, 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals, and he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves had all of this. If you look up the amount that he was trying to give him in our dollars is millions, right? And he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, pass over before me, and put a space between drove and drove. And he came the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asked thee, saying, whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto you, Esau, my lord. And behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the drove, saying, on this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him, and say ye, moreover, behold thy servant Jacob, he behind us, for he said, I will appease him with the present. Remember I said a gift blindeth the mind. I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Pre-adventure, he will accept me, right? Do what you need to do to make restitution and reconcile with whomever, right? So went the present over before him and lodged, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and he took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and set them over the brook, and set over that he had, right? And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. I'm going to skip down because, he wrestled with an angel, and it was the Lord who blessed him, and he changed his name from Jacob to Israel, because Jacob, he was still using deception. He's trying to use a present to blind out. He's still using the deception. And sometimes the Lord got to break your thigh for you to stop doing what you know you shouldn't be doing, right? It shouldn't take for the Lord to have to break something in you or take you through a traumatic experience for you to do what's right. But anywho, he broke Jacob's hip. He told him, your name is no longer Jacob. Your name is no longer deceiver, supplanter, heel catcher. Your name is now Israel. You are prince with me, right? We all should be looking for that name change, that renewing of mind, of renew yourself. Like 33, right? And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came with 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the two handmaidens. So you know he has all these kids with these 4 women. And he put the handmaid, I think this is messed up. And he put the handmaidens and their children first. Right? And Leah and her children after. Watch, this is messed up when you understand. It says, and they put the handmaidens and their children first, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph the last. Rachel and Joseph, the last one. Rachel, the one he loved, right? Joseph, the one he loved, right? He put them in the back. Because if Esau come up here, he starts slaying y'all. The handmaiden and her children, they first. Then Leah, the hated one. Then her children, you next. Then me. And then Rachel, you escape with Joseph, right? The favoritism. I gotta study for that. But and he passed over before them, and he bowed himself to the ground 7 times, and he came near to his brother. Check this out, because this is a picture of what Christ is to us, right? And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Jacob has made restitution for what he has taken. They have reconciled, right? And the picture of Christ is he's still waiting with open arms, ready to embrace you, ready to fall on your neck, cause his face to shine upon you, to kiss you, to wipe away every tear that you have endured outside of him, because we must be inside of him. And to get inside of him, right, you have to reconcile and make restitution with those that you do see. Verse 33 and 5. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the woman and the children, and said, who are these? Right? And he said, the children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, what meanest thou with all these droves which I met? And he said, these are to find grace in thy sight, Esau, my Lord. So as many of us that you ain't seen, like your sister has had children, more children, right? That you have never met. Come on, y'all. We gotta make restitution. And we gotta reconcile. And it's all do whatever you gotta do to find grace in their sight and make restitution and reconcile for your sake. Yo, we need each other, y'all. We're going through the same things. And most of the things we're going through is because you failed to do so, right? I'm serious. We're going to end here. Sorry to take up your time. I hope it blessed you. I hope you make restitution where it's needed. I hope you reconcile where it's needed, and do what you have to do to find grace in the sight of God and men. Verse 33 and 9, and Esau said, I got enough, my brother. Keep all that to yourself. I don't want nothing from you. I just want peace. Shalom.